edition of the Wildlife Docs, meet an entire family of endangered mountain gorillas.
Do you know if that little one is a male or female yet?
Yeah, this one is a male.
Get a rare, up-close and personal view of these great apes.
It's such an impactful thing to be that close to the animals.
Join the brave rangers of Uganda as they fight poachers with new, groundbreaking technology.
You're dealing with what I call silent victims. Animals can't call the police when there's something wrong.
Plus, witness how the Uganda Conservation Foundation is helping to preserve and protect African wildlife.
Sometimes they just don't have the resources to do the basics, and that's where we fit in.
It's a journey to the heart of Africa to witness some of the most amazing animals in the world. I'm Rachel Reenstra, taking you on an animal adventure with the Wildlife Docs. Right in the center of Africa is the country Uganda. And for those who love seeing animals in the wild, the country's 10 different national parks boast a wide array of animals. Activities range from a wildlife cruise on the Nile River, where you can see elephants, buffalo, crocodiles, and loads of hippos, to a jungle hike where you can witness leopards or the amazing tree-climbing lions. But any journey to Uganda is not complete until you step into the Bwindi Impenetrable forest and an up-close encounter with the mountain gorilla. Africa is filled with majestic beauty, cascading waterfalls, expansive savannas, snow-capped mountains, sprawling deserts, lush rainforests, all spread across more than 11 million square miles. It is enormous. It's the second largest continent on the planet. In fact, the United States, India, Mexico, China, and all of Europe could fit inside of Africa, plus Japan. Located in the middle of this sprawling continent is Uganda, a top destination to witness a wide variety of wild animals.
Come to the center, that's where everything starts. Come to the center. We have about 10% of the wild species found in this country. The fantastic water resources that we do have are good habitat for a variety of animals that you rarely find all over the world.
The Wildlife Docs were requested to journey to Uganda to treat giraffe for a skin problem in Murchison Falls National Park and try and help to solve a mysterious disease with some lions in Kadepo Valley National Park. Next stop is the Bwindi Impenetrable Forest. This expedition is not a medical trip, but rather an opportunity for observation and learning for the team as they witness rare animal behavior with the park's mountain gorillas.
Originally, the Bwindi Impenetrable Forest had the local community living inside of it. Once it was designated as a national park and a World Heritage Site, the Uganda Wildlife Authority encouraged the people to move outside of the boundaries, but then gave them opportunities to help take care of the park.
The rangers and guides are locals. They work together to share the native plant life and the amazing wildlife, like the mountain gorilla.
I'm here for you, and I am sure I will tell you everything in this jungle, okay?
Perfect. Sounds great.
Yeah.
Mountain gorillas are considered omnivores. They eat fruit, shoots, and leaves.
And these plants you are seeing around, these are food for gorillas. So this is one of the plants that we call Blantesia. That's what gorillas like most, and that is a common plant in the jungle.
It is estimated that there are 880 mountain gorillas left in the wild, and more than half are found in Uganda. Coming up, journey deep into the jungle and come face to face with mountain gorillas.
He's coming, you see him coming.
That's later when the Wildlife Docs continues. Bwindi Impenetrable Forest National Park in Uganda is one of just a couple of places in the world where humans can get within a very close distance of mountain gorillas. Gorilla habituation is the term used by scientists to bring humans and gorillas close to each other.
It's where you can reach gorillas. Maybe you walk a long distance or you walk a short distance. Because the factors that we consider according to gorilla movement, it's a factor of food.
Safety is the #1 priority for the guides and the team. Today, they will hopefully get up close and personal with one of the habituated gorilla troops. The goal is to observe animal behavior with the endangered mountain gorilla.
We are going to start walking, okay? Come with me.
From base camp, it is anywhere from a 1-hour to 6-hour hike to see the gorillas. It's estimated that there are 36 gorilla families in the park, but only 11 of them have been habituated to humans. The goal is to find the Mbare gorilla family, which has 9 members, including one dominant male, the silverback.
The rangers work with these animals every day. The trackers go and follow them. And it is such an impactful thing to be that close to the animals, to watching them, to seeing just all their behaviors, all the things that they do that are somewhat close to what we do.
The hike winds deep into the forest. Gorillas never stay in the same spot. They are always moving deeper into the jungle.
You see this bridge, it looks like it's old, so we are going to cross one by one.
All right, Rob made it. I feel pretty good about it.
Up ahead, 2 of the park rangers have been tracking the gorillas since sunrise. 3 hours later, they've been spotted and alert the team that they are close. Within minutes, the group is standing face to face with a family of wild mountain gorillas.
When we first got to the gorillas, one mom with her infant was there. It was actually a little bit of a surprise how close we were and how relatively unconcerned they were with our presence. Do you know if that little one is a male or female yet?
Yeah, this one is a male.
Okay.
So in the wild, how quickly will the babies start running around?
Around 2 years.
But way up in the trees is the silverback of the troop, the dominant male, Koi Niami, who doesn't mind showing off a little for his visitors.
Very agile.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing to be that big and that agile.
You can see Canyon silverback. Because the more he gets old, the more the silverback spray expands on his back.
For such a relatively large animal, these mountain gorillas do a great job of moving between trees. They can climb up much higher than you'd think an animal that big can get. They're so strong that they can move limb from limb down vines that you'd think they're gonna come crashing down, and they don't. They really are pretty graceful.
Gorillas and humans belong to the biological group called primates. We're both considered great apes, along with orangutans, chimpanzees, and bonobos.
The opportunity to actually do gorilla trekking in the Bwindi Impenetrable Forest was something that I've always wanted to do. So there were some preconceived notions of how close people got to the gorillas, but it didn't compare in any way, shape, or form to actually being there.
Gorillas and humans share some of the same behavioral characteristics, like laughing, recognizing faces, and showing affection. However, gorillas are much larger than humans. The average male gorilla is over 6 feet tall and can weigh over 600 pounds. Female gorillas are pregnant for about 8.5 months. Babies will stay very close to their mom for about 8 months and are not fully weaned until they are about 4 years old. The average female gorilla will have from 3 to 6 babies in their lifetime.
As close as we got to the animals, watching the one mom nurse the baby, to watching the big silverback come all the way down out of a 20-something foot tree, all of that was just something that was far beyond what I could have expected to actually have occur during this gorilla trek here in the Bwindi Impenetrable Forest.
Mountain gorillas were first discovered in 1902. Because of war, hunting, habitat destruction, and disease, it was once thought the species might be extinct by the end of the 20th century. But due to research and conservation efforts by the Uganda Wildlife Authority, these great apes have survived. Their future is looking bright, and their population is growing.
Goodbye, M Troop. You guys were awesome.
Coming up, go on patrol with the rangers as they remove poachers' snares and traps. Next, when the Wildlife Docs continues. A recent report by the World Wildlife Fund stated that between 1970 and 2010, the population of vertebrate animals throughout the world dropped by 52%. In just 4 decades, there are half the number of animals on the planet. The SeaWorld and Busch Gardens Conservation Fund was created to help change that statistic. In Africa, that includes focusing on protecting animals from poachers. 50 years ago, wildlife in Uganda thrived, especially the big animals. Tens of thousands of elephants, lions, hippos, and rhinos. But years of war, big game hunting, and poaching saw those numbers decrease dramatically. In fact, in the 1980s, there were less than 800 elephants, and the rhinos, they were all gone.
We've had a bad history, and we've learned a lot through that history. We've responded by building that capacity to regulate this place. Uganda takes security extremely seriously.
The Uganda Wildlife Authority was established in 1996. Security and safety of all the animals is the #1 priority. While elephant populations are declining in most of Africa, Uganda has seen a 600% growth, from just 800 to more than 5,000 today. And the rhinos, they are back, thanks to the government and donations from conservation funds.
Having supporters like the SeaWorld and Busch Gardens Conservation Fund has enabled us to get on with the job. More to the point, enabled us to help the Ugandan Wildlife Authority do their jobs with morale and with pride.
Today, the rangers have even more responsibility, guarding most of the animals from poaching. Thousands of snares have been placed in the parks to catch and sell bushmeat, which are small and medium-sized animals like cob and hartebeests.
We'll join the rangers now. We'll go into this scrub. Hopefully we won't find anything, but it's highly likely we will.
Doctor Pete and Rob joined Michael on the rangers' daily patrol for snares.
How many snares do you typically find when you go on a patrol?
If you go back a few years, we're talking really about up to maybe 200. Now, Samania now they're finding 2 or 3 a patrol.
Okay.
The more we keep the pressure up, the better.
Yeah, here's one.
In just minutes, Doctor Pete finds a snare.
And you've got a simple loop of wire with a slip knot on one side to tighten down like a noose on the animal when it walks through. And then it's secured around this tree here to hold the animal in place after it's entrapped.
The poachers want the smaller antelope, but the snares are not selective. The result can be deadly.
We've got elephants in this park with no trunks at all. Cut off at the nose, so all you see is 2 holes. It's alarming, it's horrible. Lions have been sliced, literally their skin around their body sliced, once they've got caught in the snare. And it's horrific.
The rangers have been trained by the Uganda Wildlife Authority and past members of Britain's Royal Marines to also patrol the Nile River for poachers.
You have marine rangers that patrol the water, and then the foot patrols that spend the time on land.
That combination has proven to be a success, saving the lives of small and medium-sized animals, but also stopping the surge in the horrible injuries to the elephants and lions.
Once the Uganda Wildlife Authority finds the snares and confiscates them, they actually go to an area where they store them. There's over 20 tons of snares at the armory right now.
And in an act of wildlife karma, these snares that have been used to kill and capture native animals are now being put to a productive use.
They're cutting up the old wire from the snares and tying it together and using that as the base of the armory. So the foundation for the new armory will actually be based on confiscated snares that aren't in the wild anymore.
A great way to turn a negative into a positive. Once the rangers capture a poacher, they need to build a strong case to get a conviction. Because the poacher speaks Swahili and the court system worked in English, the conviction rate was terribly low. Less than 20% actually went to jail. But then, in stepped Doctor Andrew Lemieux, a brilliant mind in the world of wildlife criminology.
This is the hardest type of crime I've ever encountered in my career. And you're dealing with what I call silent victims. Animals can't call the police when there's something wrong.
Coming up, Discover Doctor Andrew's groundbreaking project that has changed the crime of poaching forever.
Uganda set the standard with this project.
That's next when the Wildlife Docs continues. In Africa, poaching is one of the greatest threats to the wildlife population. While most countries are experiencing declines in the numbers of elephants and lions, just the opposite is happening in Uganda, thanks in part to the work of the Uganda Conservation Foundation and their groundbreaking anti-poaching project, Wild Leo.
You're trying to integrate lessons learned from urban crime, how to prevent it, how to study it, how to find patterns, and apply it to wildlife crime, specifically site security in different protected areas.
Doctor Andrew has been training the park rangers how to use smartphones with state-of-the-art software to instantly collect evidence of poachers and their crime the moment they are caught.
One of the hardest parts of proving guilt in a court of law is that many of the poachers don't speak English. Poachers would often say, I don't speak English, the rangers wrote this statement, they made me sign it, and I'm not actually guilty. So the idea of using a video is you can record a statement in the local language, which is very hard for the poacher to backtrack on once they're in the courtroom.
The rangers participate in instructional exercises with Doctor Andrew, where they practice immediately recording a video confession from the poacher.
So we use the phone to collect, first of all, the observations, but then we switch to the camera so that we can get that good photo, that nice evidence for the courtroom that he can't deny.
Before Wild Leo, the conviction rate for poachers was less than 20%. Today, using evidence from Wild Leo rangers, the conviction rate is more than 95%. That success is sweeping the country.
That evolved pretty rapidly into an expansion across all of Uganda's parks, and they've been very supportive in helping raise money for the equipment, and so helping the rangers in any way is what I'm most proud of with the project.
Doctor Pete and Rob's journey to Africa has been a wild success. They teamed up with the brave rangers who patrol the parks and protect Uganda and the world's most majestic wild animals from poachers. They witnessed close-up animal behaviors with mountain gorillas in Bwindi Impenetrable Forest National Park.
Uganda has so much to offer, but coming to see these gorillas specifically, this is such an impactful thing to be that close to the animals, to watching them, to seeing just all their behaviors.
We get lucky enough to get to work with really awesome wild animals pretty much every day and to get to see them close, but it's just a whole other experience to go out and see them in the wild on their terms, in their turf, and to see what they do in their natural habitat. It was really outstanding.
They donated medical equipment, including a polarized microscope, a dart gun to safely sedate animals when hands-on treatment is needed, a centrifuge, plus much-needed items for daily use.
We've got wonderful people working in the parks, rangers, wardens. The tourism guys are so enthusiastic, but sometimes they just don't have the resources to do the basics, and that's where we fit in.
For almost 20 years, the Uganda Conservation Foundation has been a catalyst for change. Volunteers on the front line, supporting Ugandans to help their country restore and protect their wildlife.
We are a happy people, you know, we have lots of issues, but we also don't let life pass by. Yes. So I am happy that I am Ugandan.
The people of Uganda are making their wildlife success story come true. Leading the way is the Uganda Wildlife Authority, with a little help from the Uganda Conservation Foundation and the SeaWorld and Busch Gardens Conservation Fund. Together, preserving Uganda's wildlife for future generations.
Closed captioning and other promotional consideration provided by
Our journey to Africa and the amazing country of Uganda has come to an end. We have seen hundreds of species, including lions, elephants, hippos, giraffes, crocodiles, mountain gorillas, and amazing birds like the shoebill and Egyptian geese. I'm Rachel Reenstra. Join us next week for another animal adventure with the Wildlife Docs.